There's no way. It's way too much damage.
Oh, and he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh, no, and he gets out!
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this seed.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every seed
Our
does.
favorite phrase.
Hello and welcome to this upper bracket round 2 match of the Ori 2021 Rando tournament between Liftoff seeded 7th and Sunnymuffin at seed 26. Sunny beat Accurate in round 1, getting him into this match, while Liftoff didn't have to play a bracket match yet, so we'll see if any rust comes into play today. I sure hope not. I'm Xanthus, and joining by me on commentary is going to be the one and only Poogle. Poogle, are you ready for the shenanigans in today's race?
Zem, I don't think anyone's quite ready for the shenanigans of this race, because this race is not going to be the typical standard seed variant of race. What shenanigans do we have today?
So our runners have chosen to pick 3 additional modes for the randomizer. We are gonna be playing open world, shards, bonus, light. We will get to what that means as soon as it comes up, but just be prepared for a lot of extra things not normally seen in our usual seed. But enough about the seed itself. Let us introduce our runners. Poogle, we have talked to our runners. Wanna start by talking about Muffin?
Sure thing. So Sunnymuffin is not feeling super confident against Liftoff, but hopes that certain movement upgrades like jump grades or along with double jump or bash and skill velocity, as well as a couple of really not so nice shard locations, and all in all just wants to have fun with the race. Is not super comfortable with bonus light as a whole, but is hoping to have a very good time. What about Liftoff on this one?
Yeah, interestingly enough, both of our runners are actually not usual bonus light players. They were more of the opinion of why not, let's show some stuff off. I know Liftoff has prepared some special jump grade velocity strength and is really hoping for that Ginso escape warp that might come into play here. Interesting to see if he will be able to utilize that in some special bonus light only ways. But otherwise, I know Liftoff is pretty nervous about this. He is very highly seeded, but that doesn't mean that the randomizer cannot decide it is just time to dig for shards for 30 minutes or something similar. So let's just hope we get a nice seed for Liftoff's sake here. I know Liftoff is more of a jet seed favorite, you know, the double jump dash, that kind of things. We will see if we get to have something like that or if we get to do a lot of left side early. But yeah, I think we have a very interesting match here on hand.
Well, left side might come into play a little earlier than most people are going to expect, but like you said, we'll get to that when it happens, which may be quite early. Probably not to our runner's liking, but who knows?
Yeah, it looks like our runners are readying up for the race, so we will get into that at any moment. But meanwhile, Poogle, I have to ask you the age-old question. What do you think is going to be on the first pickup today?
Oh, that's a good one. I'd like to see a teleporter, but let's say swamp teleporter, for example. Let's see where that would lead our runners.
I know exactly what strats you are hoping to see here. Alright, I am going to go with the boring 1 keystone on the first pickup. But it looks like we're ready to go. Good luck in your rando indeed, and off are our runners. And Sunny just a little bit faster on the product skip, and it is 3 experience. What an interesting first pickup. Alright, our runners heading down to this lower area, getting their first energy in the moment. We decided not to randomize this pickup because playing the game without the ability to save is honestly just straight up out for, so this will always be an energy cell. And our runners have 3 more pickups. Oh wait, they actually have more, right?
We'll get to that in a hot minute there. There is your first keystone. And as you said, yeah, it's really awful not being able to save at all. Unlike other randomizers where you might keep something as soon as you pick it up, unless you save, you don't keep it. So let's say you get a skill, let's say you get dash or you get bash, but then you die. You gotta go pick that skill back up again, because you don't have it until you save and make sure that you will not die with that skill obtained.
Yes, indeed. And that is the exact reason why playing with 0 energy is just not fun for the randomizer. But with this, we are getting into our glade fields. Our runners utilizing sign, which they just picked up, another thing not randomized, to get rid of the brambles. Time for the first and second keystone check, just an ability on that one. And getting over to the second keystone will probably afterwards drop down. Maybe check the fake rivers, but wait, there's a door missing.
So about that, yes, our runners have 2 keystones, and yes, that would normally get them in the door. Ooh, that's a mega energy, that's nice. Runners aren't going to keep it. The door's not there. Now, that is the main first part of what we call open world. Open world allows for a little bit more maneuverability in the world as a whole. It means that that first keystone door is not there. It means that there is no stomp locked way into Valley. The peg is already stomped, and a couple of other things that our runners can use to their advantage to just go wherever they want so long as they can get there. There's no Kuro kill plane. Nibel is our runner's oyster. And there's Grenade, so I guess we've already found the pearl.
Yes, we got our first progression pickup. This actually only unlocks a single pickup, and Liftoff immediately using Alt-R to go back to the start is probably either gonna take a lift here. No, alright, we'll run to the blue wall that you can break with the grenade to get 1 extra check in. Sunny, on the other hand, just walking backwards, will actually reach the wall first. Heads up there that you can actually make it back out without wall jump. Very nicely done. And there is wall jump while we're talking at it. So it looks like we have a wall interaction blue breakage seat on our hands, huh?
Well, they can get to this tree immediately quickly, get this plant broken, go to the charged flame tree, and that'll be 2 of 3 trees. Which is great, because super early, we're going to start getting some hopeful progression, but with wall jump and grenade, that does mean that our runners can get a decent amount through the seed with just those skills. It's pretty nice.
Liftoff doing some blind movement here on the sea flame, having a bit of trouble with the menu, but with this, he can just make up that little bit of time loss from earlier by walking over behind the camera. Sunny pulling this lever in preparation for a potential mid-game or even a bit early-ish game route where you have to pull the lever and then take the upper growth route. I think Liftoff is probably thinking, if I have to go right side, I'm gonna use the mega energy I found earlier, so not pulling that. But yeah, with wall jump and grenade, we have actually an absurd amount of the map already open. We have the valley entry area, we have the glades area, we have Blackroot, we have the Swarm Grove. This might be quite a bit of time until we actually find our next progression here.
Technically speaking, our runners can go all the way down to Moon Grotto currently. They just, if they're gonna go the intended route, have to go the long way around. And
Yes,
that would be a time.
That sure would be a 20-minute trek if they decide to check all of the pickups on the way. For now, luckily we only, or well, however you want to put it, we only found 3 keystones so far, which means we are still 1 keystone off of to actually opening that door into the grove area. So we cannot quite do this trek yet unless we decide to kill. Oh my god, that's Dash!
That is absolutely lovely. Now, dash, as it says, makes our runners dash. You get to go fast. There's that 4th keystone, which will allow them to get through that Spirit Cavern's door into Grove. But, however, with dash, it's fast. However, with bonus light pickups, there are certain pickups that are called skill velocity. And if our runners find those, then dash is going to get a lot faster.
Yes, indeed. Let's hope we get to see 2 or 3 of those in this seed. You never know. Even with this gigantic bonus light pool, it is still a randomizer. There's no guarantee we will see them, but for both us and for the runners, I sure hope we will see some of them. But yeah, our runners now heading into Blackroot, not wanting to orphan this area. This is a kinda slow area. It's basically a series of auto-scrollers where you have to guide the orb through all of these platforms with a gimmick where the orb can make platform spawn or walls despawn, as you can see here on the right. Oh, don't fall off. Okay, it doesn't fall off. And however, there is a tree at the end of this auto-scroller section, and our runners will need quite a few of those to finish the seed.
They will need all 10 skill trees, well, 9 skill trees and a feather, but that one still counts, in order to unlock the final escape and beat the game. The dash tree, being in Blackroot Burrows, is one of those trees that our runners are gonna need.
Yes, and this will also be the third tree for our runners. If you have followed the random tournament so far, you might remember the clue mechanic that is normally in place, where every third tree you activate, you get a clue for where one of the dungeon keys is. Today, we are not going to see that. We are playing shards, and that means our dungeon keys are split into 5 randomly placed shards on the map. And our runners will need to find at least 3 of them to complete the dungeon key and access the dungeon. Meanwhile, Liftoff finding a very early Spirit Light efficiency. That will double all the experience he picks up for the rest of the seed. And since we're only 7 minutes in, that will be a gigantic amount of extra XP we're getting today.
That is excellent. Also, what Liftoff did is Liftoff used the grenade to light the lantern to get in there without having to jump over there with the orb. Because grenades can light all of the lanterns in Blackroot Burrows. You're just not supposed to have grenade yet, so in the vanilla game, you don't see that. Here, however, we can use that to our advantage.
Yes, Sunny also doing the same. Now Liftoff setting up for quite a bit of a cutscene stack. Starting the cutscene can now just head over here, get the keystone, and will now stand in a very precise place after doing some backflips for good measure, since he has so much time thanks to Dash. And now that the room is finally lit up, he can activate the tree and do some more blind movement behind it. We'll probably head over to the left to check the ability cell in the main room. Sunny right on Liftoff's heels here. All right, escaping over, and let's see. No, it's just experience. Liftoff quitting out. As Poogle alluded to before, you lose your pickups if you do not save the game after getting it. But in this case, it was just 20 experience, so Liftoff decided not to keep that and instead just reload the game, save a bit of the backtrack, because that is a very, very long autoscroller section.
Liftoff also did something that we don't normally see runners do for that lever. Now, normally you're supposed to pull the lever, hold it all the way, and then dash through in order to get through before it closes. Liftoff used a save anywhere to save while that lever was held down, rather than what runners normally do, which is save and then rekindle that save while the lever is being pulled. That's really neat.
Yes, very heads up play, seeing that he's still on 1 energy, right? So he needed to place that 1 save for the dash tree and didn't have the energy refill to place another save. So he just went for the save anywhere, since he wants to spend his points anyway. We could see Liftoff just leveling up air dash at this boulder, which will, as the name implies, allow him to dash in the air, giving him a bunch of extra mobility. And air dash is actually logically required by our randomizer. So definitely a thing our runners want to get early to get the full spectrum of their checks. But also, we just found Glide in a very interesting spot under the boulder. So that's
Ooh.
exciting.
So that pickup is not in logic until you have Stomp, because you're not required to have the Frankie do that for you.
Yes, that Frankie can permanently despawn, so we cannot require a player to use it to stomp the boulder, since that would make for very easy softlocks. That will give our runners some information for where they can search if they really want to find Stomp or climb C-Jump later in the seed for now. I think the glide itself is honestly for now mostly a nice comfy blanket, but once we get into the more late game areas of the seed or even find wind, that's where this glide will really come into place.
Oh, absolutely. Now, both of our runners are going to go through Spirit Caverns. They're not going to take that out of logic Mega Energy we did find underneath the water. Now, the Seed in Standard is never going to make our runners do any pickups in dirty water that are going to never going to make any dirty water pickups necessary for progression.
Yes, and also the Mega Energy is technically a bonus pickup added by the randomizer, not present in the vanilla game, and those will also never be required to beat the seed, but they are a nice bonus. Interesting to see, Liftoff does not decide to head into the valley entry area. Those are 3 checks right there, which come into logic really early with the skill set. So if Sunny checks that and finds something there, that could be a bit of a small advantage. Now has to drop down to the lever that Sunny pulled earlier, which means we are actually getting a bit of a catch up here. No, Sunny goes for the valley entry checks. Let's see if anything here is something important. Has to lure over the Fronky to break the floor for him since we don't have Stomp yet. It's a good one, shot. I think our runners are gonna hope that doesn't come into play, but it certainly can be a thing. 1 shot for Sunny, none so far for Liftoff. And we
Ooh.
find our first warp.
So, about warps. Warps will never be in logic. However, they are one of the very lovely extra pickups that can be found in the bonus light pool. So that can give our runners an extra opportunity to go certain areas they normally would not be able to. Again, warps are another thing that will not ever be in logic. So if our runners decide to follow one of these warps, they have to remember that the warps might be taking them way out of the way. What's
Also-
interesting is that neither runner is going for that other experience above lower valley entry. Upper valley, lower valley entry. Olive Valley's normally not in logic, but yet here we are.
Yes, with air dash and wall jump, it is actually pretty easy to get that. Oh, Sunny taking the warp and Liftoff also going for the warp. Oh no, I'd ask a bit too early before touching the pickup. No, that will send him back to spawn instead. So the bind to use a warp is the same bind as to teleport back to spawn, and in this case, Liftoff accidentally did the latter instead, but will now opt to go for the Mega Energy instead and use that to break into Grotto by opening this Death Gauntlet area here. Actually with a very similar skill set to the one you usually has and where it gets its name from. So I'm just doing a few quick checks here to avoid dying from water, teleporting back to the spawn, while Liftoff gets a refill before heading over to Death Gauntlet. I'm interested to see if Sunny decides to take the warp again, because that does skip quite a bit of walking by teleporting you immediately into the swamp loop instead of having to go all the way to Spider Sack, Spider Lake, and Grove. Alright, Liftoff, can he dodge the Fronky? Very nice. That will mean he is pretty much safe for this area, as long as he does not take a death to one of the crushers to the right. Oh, finds the broken horror teleport. I want to explain how our dungeon teleporters work in the shard system.
Absolutely. So, normally we don't have dungeon teleporters in the pool at all, but that's the bonus light pickup set puts them back in. However, with shards being the mode that our runners have decided on today, the teleporters for Ginso, Horu, and Forlorn will need 2 out of the 3 shards for that dungeon key in order to actually activate them.
Yes, basically our teleporters are kinda akin to a 6th shard. Speaking of shards, Sunny not deciding to warp and finding a second Gumon Seal shard already. Well, let's hope that doesn't mean anything, because this is open world and access to Forlorn is way easier in open world than it is in our standard variation. So far, both of our runners exciting, going for areas none have checked yet. Liftoff skipping the bridge on the right, being able to get some extra checks in here, and will now drop down into Gumo Sidon. I mean, on the left side, Sunny getting a nice health cell, very nice. You need at least 5 health cells if you cannot clean the poisonous water, and that is a randomized pickup, so we never know if we can get that. And both our runners actually pretty thorough with their checks for now.
What's really nice is that Liftoff did get one first off clean water, so that's really nice. But also got a second energy cell down in Grotto here, as well as a water vein shard. This place is just great for water, apparently. And
yeah, very
oh
blue
yes,
area.
did level a thing earlier. So on the bridge cutscene, I wasn't quite sure. Not only finds climb here, on the bridge cutscene, leveled up to Charge Dash. So Zem, what is so great about Charge Dash, and why am I so gosh darn excited?
Alright, one of the applications you already saw, you can just rocket jump off of an enemy and fly into the sky. It also works downwards if you choose so. But otherwise, dash is already fast, but charge dash is twice as fast as dash. By spending one energy, you get a bunch of speed, and it can home in on enemies, deals a bunch of damage, can break blue things. You can cancel to do those Q jumps that we saw Liftoff do to check that one extra pickup. For now, however, Liftoff is not going to charge it through here, instead setting up for a safe drop, I think. Alright, so what Liftoff is trying to do here is to get over the laser, or is he actually doing a rock slide behind the safe anywhere? I can actually not tell. I think he is trying to go for the rock slide. Oh my god, this is even more exciting. Tipping the boulder over and kinda has to try to get onto the side of it, but now deciding not to go for it. It is a very precise trick. Instead doing the safe drop, very nice, will drop all the way to the ground on 0 health, 0 energy, but with this he can skip through the laser and just needs to push this rock over here and will get 2 extra check out of its troubles.
This upper little wall ceiling thing can be broken by a lot of things. Unfortunately, Liftoff has none of those things and is going to have to check these 2 pickups, which is a health cell and a jump upgrade. Now, jump upgrades are exactly what they say. They make your jumps go higher slightly, which is great because just that little bit of extra height can help with getting to places that might be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, especially this is the double jump area, right? Our dear developers have obviously placed a lot of things just a little bit out of reach for a normal jump. So getting a bit of extra height on your jump is very nice. Can just jump up the wall here, no double jump or anything required. And finds a warp about 1 meter upwards. Well, happy to see that one, I guess. That is a very well-placed warp. Also getting health leech. This is basically mean as long as Liftoff is nearby enemies, he will have health for days. Health leech, returning a portion of the damage you deal to enemies back to yourself. Can also, kind of similarly to health regen, get you that extra hit in through poison water by getting you like 0.1 health, because you only die at 0 and not at 0.1. But for now, Liftoff is gonna continue going through Grotto, trying to get to that tree. We need trees, as mentioned. Rocket jumping off the Frankie, very nice, right into the air. Can get 1 extra check out of that. And yeah, meanwhile, Sunny is very thorough, checking all of the swamp loop and the grove area. Got a lot of resources out of it. That's a lot of energy, a lot of charge dashes he can use to move around the world quicker. But so far, no very important pickup.
However, very important for Sunny is that that was a mega energy. I thought he had 4 energy. My bad. However, having 3 energy is nice because that is just 1 more save that you can do, 1 more ability that you can, not die. And not dying is great. And there's a second water vein shard. Ooh. Grotto is loaded.
Grotto sure is loaded with blue things today. Yeah, just really needs 1 more. Alright, the Sunstone shard for Sunny. That is very nice. I am very sure he is going to find that that broken horror teleporter, which puts it at 2 out of 3 shards for his final dungeon access. And to complete the game, you need access to the final dungeon, otherwise you can't go to the final area. So very nice for him to find that at the Iceless area. But for now, Liftoff finishing his grotto clear. Sunny is now probably gonna do those checks Liftoff did before, as Liftoff is rocket jumping up into this area to get the grenade lock check in. Gets an extra energy cell, very nice, really like to see those. And I guess he's gonna do some of those clean water checks now. As Sunny, on the other hand, completes his Gumon seal.
Well, as soon as our runners have a way of getting down there, the Forlorn will be open.
It sure will be. And on the other hand, Liftoff is getting a lot of map stones and also has a very particular skill set here with air dash, wall jump, grenade, and clean water, and a nice area over by Valley. I'm not saying something has to be there. I'm just throwing it out here. But yeah, meanwhile, Sunny climbing up this wall with air dash. This is a lot nicer, but still, you are climbing up a wall while slimes are shooting at you, and if they hit you, you fall down into the poison water. Not one of the nicest areas to be in, but and also alright, gets, oh no, the meteor kick into the spikes. Yeah, as alluded to before, you can also do rocket jumps downwards. That's what happened there, and sadly there are spikes. But now gets a nice rocket jump to the floor. And it's the fall-on teleporter! Oh my god!
So here's the thing, Liftoff didn't have the energy to open that when he went down here originally. That is 3 Forlorn key shards, or the Gumon seal shards, and the Forlorn teleporter. Zam, what does that mean?
Alright, so if 2 more of those shards are somewhere reachable, Forlorn is absolutely in logic. And we have seen quite a few pickups that Liftoff with his water could now get, so I would not be surprised if our progression in this seed is actually just straight up 4 Gumon seal shards and the dungeon teleporter. Let's go to Forlorn.
The other thing is, if they find a skill set that lets them go, well, there's the dash plant. We're going to check that first. The keystone. So, what do you think the chances are that progression would have them go to Forlorn, and then out of Forlorn, and then up to Valley that way?
I mean, our runners... Oh, there's double jump under the... skipping that for a moment. There's double jump in the water under the spider lane. That can potentially be huge for Liftoff, because Sunny has already been in this area. He does not really have a reason to come back anytime soon, so this might just lie there for a while for him, especially with the fall on TP and 3 charts, kinda alluding to that area. But coming back to potential progression, since we have open world and our runners can just go from Grove TP, I don't think that particular path might come into play. But going outside Forlorn and checking a few extra checkups right outside the dungeon, that sure is a possibility.
Liftoff is going to be able to get a couple of pickups that SunnymufFin was not able to get while he was here initially. So with double jump is going to be able to get this pickup up here, which is grenade locked, as well as the 4 energy door, which I believe we still like to call a progression vault, because there's just normally always something there. Let's see if it holds up this time.
Yeah, progression vault obviously getting the name because progression was there like thrice or something like that. We in the Ori community like naming our things like that. Today it's just an ability cell. Meanwhile, Sunny has to